For years, we've heard that new nuclear plants are impossible in the U.S., just too expensive and risky to ever get built. But apparently that message did not get to Georgia, where work on a new plant is actually underway. Executive editor Margaret went to Waynesboro, Georgia, to see what's happening.
Here in the red Georgia clay, 2 shifts of 800 workers toiling 20 hours a day, trucks marching across the landscape, 2 giant pits excavated to bedrock, all to ready the site for 2 new nuclear reactors.
We had to excavate down about 90 feet to solid rock foundation to ensure that we had a foundation to withstand any earthquake or seismic event.
These are the foundations for Vogtle 3 and 4, 2 new 1,100 megawatt reactors that are to rise here next to Southern Company's first 2 Vogtle units. How big a deal is this? You're looking at a project that has already cost its 4 owners more than $1 billion and will end up costing at least $14 billion by 2017, one of the largest construction jobs in the United States.
We will install one of the largest cranes in the world. It will be capable of lifting over 1,000 tons. We have what we call modules that will actually be used that will be assembled in a staging area, and then this crane, the largest crane in the world, will actually lift these modules and place them into their final resting place.
The largest components, the reactor vessels and steam generators, had to be ordered from overseas. But Southern is sourcing much of the project here.
We're going to be spending 80% of the dollars on this project in the United States. So the United States actually does have significant industrial capacity to supply the parts and materials.
Southern says the project will involve some 3,500 workers at its peak in 2014 and 15.
It's very important going forward for us to stay on our planned schedule. And we plan to have Unit 3 in operational in 2016, Unit 4 in 2017.
Staying on that schedule is critical to keeping costs under control. In the 1980s, nuclear projects went way over budget, and a lot of critics think nuclear operators won't do better this time. Southern officials say, oh, yes, we can.
We have a licensing process now that's in place such that the Regulatory Commission and their responsibility, their questions will be asked and resolved prior to significant construction beginning. Secondly, engineering. Engineering will be over 90% complete before we begin significant construction at this site. And thirdly, the construction of the units themselves is different. We will be using what is known as a modular construction, and that is we will be building some of our modules, submodules off-site, and we will truck them in.
But one aspect of that modular design could derail Southern's plans to get its Vogtle license in late 2011. The AP1000 design was certified by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission in 2005, but Westinghouse has altered the reactor shield building to resist aircraft crashes. NRC is now asking whether the new modular steel plate design can withstand earthquakes and other natural forces. Westinghouse is about to give NRC analyses and test results to prove its case.
All the tests we have done so far have shown that the steel plate construction is stronger and more rugged than reinforced concrete.
The lead NRC regulator reviewing those tests says there may be no delay, but any technical findings will trump schedule considerations.
There is the possibility of delays, but until we have received this additional information that we're expecting from Westinghouse in the next few weeks, we're unable to estimate what that delay might be.
NRC Chairman Gregory Yatsko sees some slippage possible in NRC's certifying the design, but says that means less chance of schedule slips later.
We probably will need to make some adjustments to when we would anticipate getting this design certification work done, and then potentially be looking to close out the work on the application itself.
The design must be certified before NRC will issue Southern a license. Westinghouse officials say they'll do whatever it takes to avoid delay. One other potential obstacle, the Vogtle partners are haggling over fees for loan guarantees with the Department of Energy. Nuclear opponents want fees to reflect what they claim is a high risk of default, while nuclear proponents say fees that are steep are unrealistic and simply a strategy to stop nuclear. Insiders say negotiations center on a 1% or $83 million fee. Deadline to settle the issue, mid-May.
We're still in the process of working with the Department of Energy, looking at the conditions in the loan guarantees, having conversations as far as what those terms and conditions are.
Despite the daunting price tag, Southern and Georgia regulators agree this is the best deal for Georgia in the long run. The expanded station will make power for 1.3 million households 24/7, and the new reactors will run for 60 years. In Washington, Margaret Ryan, Clean Skies News.